This happened a couple of years ago, and during my sophomore year of college. I desperately needed a laptop, but I didn't have a lot of money, so I checked Facebook Marketplace regularly, hoping for a deal. Eventually, I came across a listing that seemed perfect. Dell laptop, barely used, $50, quick sale. It seemed suspiciously cheap, but the seller, Tom, assured me through messages that it was legitimate. He simply didn't use it much and wanted quick cash. After a few messages, we agreed to meet at a coffee shop near campus. Tom was friendly enough, mid-30s, well-dressed, polite. He quickly handed me the laptop and accepted the cash. "Hope you like it," he said, smiling warmly. "Just make sure to wipe the drive before using it. I've still got some personal files on there." I assured him I would, and we parted ways. Back in my dorm, I opened up the laptop. It was nearly pristine, barely a scratch on it. It booted smoothly, no obvious issues. I planned to immediately wipe the drive, as he suggested, but curiosity got the better of me. I decided to take a quick look around first. After all, it couldn't hurt. Opening the desktop, I noticed a folder titled Personal. Inside were hundreds of photographs, casual pictures, family gatherings, vacations, completely harmless. But then, one photo caught my eye. It was a candid shot of a woman sitting in her car, clearly taken without her knowledge from across the street. Unsettled, I opened another folder named Projects. Inside were dozens of video files labeled only with dates. I clicked the most recent one. My blood instantly ran cold. The footage was grainy, clearly taken from inside a parked car. It showed the same woman walking alone late at night, unaware she was being filmed. The camera zoomed closer, shaky breathing audible behind it. Heart racing, I clicked another video at random. Same woman again. This time filmed through a window, inside what seemed to be her home, completely oblivious. It was unmistakably stalking footage. Suddenly, I heard footsteps in the hallway outside my dorm. Startled, I quickly closed the laptop. The footsteps stopped just outside my door. Someone stood there silently for what felt like forever, before finally walking away. I was rattled. I immediately thought about calling the police. But what would I say? I bought a used laptop from a random guy on Facebook, and it contained disturbing videos. They'd question why I didn't wipe it right away, or doubt my story. Paranoid, I shut off the laptop and hid it in my closet, trying to calm myself. Yet the unsettling feeling lingered. The next morning, I woke to 3 missed calls from an unknown number. When I checked my voicemail, my heart dropped. It was Tom. "Hey, sorry to bother you again." His voice sounded calm, overly friendly. But I realized I forgot to remove some files from the laptop. "I'd appreciate it if you could meet me again soon. I'd like it back. Today, if possible." I blocked the number immediately, but within minutes, texts started flooding my phone from different numbers, each more frantic than the last. "Where are you? I know your dorm building. You shouldn't have looked." Terrified, I decided to take everything to campus security. They quickly called the police. After reviewing the laptop, the police seemed deeply disturbed. Apparently, some of the footage matched recent harassment cases they'd been investigating. They confiscated the laptop as evidence and assured me they'd find Tom. I felt relieved until that night when I got another text, this time from a new number. It contained just one sentence. "You just made a huge mistake." Campus security assured me I'd be safe. They even stationed an officer outside my dorm that night. Tom was found and arrested within a week. It turned out he'd done this multiple times, selling laptops loaded with footage to unsuspecting buyers, then harassing and threatening them afterward. Months passed, and the incident slowly faded from my memory. Until one day, browsing Facebook Marketplace again, I froze in horror. A new laptop listing appeared. Dell laptop, barely used, $50, quick sale. The profile picture was different, but the name underneath was unmistakable. Tom's full name. How he managed it from prison, I'll never understand. But one thing was clear. I've never trusted Facebook Marketplace again. I'm a photographer by hobby. About 6 months ago, I was browsing Facebook Marketplace, searching for a new camera lens, specifically a Canon 85mm lens. I had been saving for months, but they were always out of my budget. Then, late one evening, a listing caught my eye. Canon 85mm lens, practically new, $75, need gone ASAP. The price was suspiciously low, but the seller's profile seemed normal enough. Just a guy named Eric, selling various household items. He responded quickly, saying he needed the money urgently and could meet me immediately at a local coffee shop parking lot. It was unusual, but I figured the busy public spot would make it safe enough. I arrived around 8:30 p.m. The parking lot was nearly empty. I spotted Eric's car quickly. A silver SUV parked near the back, engine off, headlights dimmed. As I approached, Eric stepped out, smiling warmly. "Glad you could meet me on short notice," he said, handing me the lens. It looked immaculate. He seemed friendly, even showing me the original packaging and receipt. "I promise nothing's wrong with it, just a quick sale," he assured. I handed him the cash, thanked him, and headed home excitedly, eager to try out my new lens. That night, while testing it around my apartment, I noticed something unusual. The autofocus kept locking onto random points around the room, even empty corners or blank walls. I dismissed it as a minor technical glitch, thinking I'd just adjust the settings later. The next morning, I took the lens downtown to photograph the sunrise. But again, the lens behaved strangely. It would randomly shift focus away from the subjects I chose, always settling on empty areas in the distance. Frustrated, I switched lenses, deciding I'd inspect it thoroughly at home. Later, as I uploaded the photos from that morning onto my computer, I froze. In several images, figures stood clearly visible in the background, strangers who seemed to be staring directly at the camera. I didn't recall seeing them at all while shooting. Confused and somewhat unsettled, I decided to message Eric, asking if he'd had any similar problems. But when I opened Facebook, his profile was gone, the messages deleted, and the original listing completely vanished. I felt uneasy, but told myself it must be some strange technical coincidence. That night, unable to shake the feeling, I examined the lens more carefully. Shining a flashlight into it, I saw something that made my skin crawl. A tiny object embedded deep inside. It appeared to be a miniature electronic device, barely visible. It was a camera, a hidden micro camera. My pulse quickened. I immediately realized why the lens had been so cheap. Someone had deliberately rigged it to spy on people. I disconnected my computer from the internet and quickly removed the lens from my camera. Hands shaking, I placed it into a drawer and locked it away. I considered calling the police, but hesitated, unsure how I'd explain the situation or if they'd even take me seriously. Just as I tried calming myself down, my phone buzzed. A notification from Facebook Messenger, from a new, unknown account. The message was short but chilling. "Did you enjoy your new lens?" My heart raced as a second message followed almost immediately. "You take very interesting pictures. I liked the one from your living room last night." I felt physically sick. This person had clearly accessed photos directly from the hidden device. Panicking, I called the police. They took my report and confiscated the lens as evidence. A detective explained they'd encountered similar cases before. Small electronics hidden in devices sold online, designed specifically for stalking and spying. They assured me they'd investigate thoroughly. For weeks afterward, I felt paranoid in my own home. Even after sweeping my apartment for other devices, I couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. Months passed without word from the police, and eventually, I tried to move past it. Then, just recently, as I scrolled mindlessly through the Facebook Marketplace again, my heart stopped. Canon 85mm lens, practically new, $75. Need gone ASAP. The seller's name was different, but the wording and price were identical. My blood ran cold as I wondered how many others were out there, unknowingly being watched, all because of a too good to be true deal. Needless to say, that was the last time I ever trusted Facebook Marketplace.
This happened during the summer before my senior year of high school. I'd been wanting a nice gaming chair for ages, but they were too expensive new, so naturally, I turned to Facebook Marketplace. One afternoon, I stumbled upon the perfect listing. Gaming chair, barely used, $40, must go today. It was local, and the price was fantastic. The seller was a woman named Beth. Her profile was completely normal. Lots of family photos, typical posts, nothing suspicious. When I messaged her, she replied quickly, explaining her son had moved out, and she just wanted it gone. We arranged to meet at her house around 7 p.m. The address was in a quiet suburb, not far from my neighborhood. My older brother drove me there in his truck, and we pulled up just before sunset. The house looked neat, ordinary, nothing out of place. Beth greeted us at the door, friendly and warm. She guided us inside, and the chair was exactly as described, pristine and nearly brand new. My son left it behind, she said quietly, almost sadly. I don't need the reminder. I'd rather someone else enjoy it. I thanked her, gave her the cash, and we loaded the chair into the truck. She stood at her front door, silently watching us leave, her expression oddly distant. Once home, I set the chair up in my bedroom, excitedly testing it out while playing games late into the night. Everything felt fine, except for one thing: a weird lump in the chair's padding near the backrest. Annoying, but nothing serious. A few days passed, and I noticed another strange thing. My room started smelling odd, faintly unpleasant, almost sickly sweet. My mom noticed it too, making me search the room repeatedly. We couldn't find the source. One afternoon, the odor was worse than ever. Frustrated, I leaned back in the gaming chair, feeling the lump again. Suddenly suspicious, I grabbed scissors, carefully slicing into the backrest padding. Inside, I discovered a small plastic bag containing a cheap, disposable cell phone. My stomach dropped. Why would anyone hide a phone in a chair? Nervously, I powered it on. It was unlocked, and I opened the messages, immediately feeling sick. The phone contained dozens of texts, all to and from an unknown number. They spoke cryptically about exchanges, drop-offs, money owed, and veiled threats. It was clear the previous owner was involved in something shady. Panicked, I showed my brother. We quickly agreed to take the chair back to Beth. Maybe she'd know something. When we arrived, the house was completely dark. We knocked repeatedly, but no answer. Uneasy, we returned home, unsure what to do. Later that evening, as I paced nervously around my room, the disposable phone suddenly buzzed with an incoming message. Heart pounding, I opened it. You better have what you owe me. Tonight, or I'm coming to collect. Before I could react, headlights flooded our driveway. Peeking through the blinds, my heart raced. A dark sedan parked just outside, engine idling. Two large figures stepped out, moving deliberately toward our front door. I ran to my brother's room, frantic. We quickly told our parents, who immediately called the police. The men outside knocked loudly at the door, demanding to see James. Beth's son, I realized. My dad shouted through the locked door that they had the wrong house, but the men didn't believe him. Thankfully, police cars pulled into the driveway moments later. The men tried to run, but officers apprehended them quickly. After explaining everything and showing the phone, the officers pieced together what had happened. Apparently, Beth's son had been involved in drug-related dealings and owed a significant amount of money. The chair had been a hidden stash point, somehow missed by Beth when cleaning out his room. The men who came that night had tracked the phone, expecting to find James. Instead, they found us. Beth's son was eventually arrested in another state, and the two men faced charges as well. Beth apologized profusely, horrified at the danger she'd unknowingly put us in. After that incident, I never bought furniture from Facebook Marketplace again. The experience left a mark, because sometimes a good deal can come with a hidden cost that's far too high.